Welcome back. In the last week alone, there have been 5 brutal stabbings, 3 of them fatal, bringing knife crime once again to the fore. These tragedies were no doubt a terrible reminder to Nathaniel Levy. His brother, 16-year-old Robert, was also stabbed and killed just 4 years ago.
Well, Nathaniel has now dedicated his life to trying to get school children out of gangs. Here's his remarkable story.
It seems that a week doesn't go by without hearing another tragic report of a teenager's death at the hands of another child. Over the last decade, our neighbourhoods and our playgrounds have turned into battlegrounds where children as young as 9 arm themselves with weapons. Well, today I'm here to meet a remarkable young man who wants to change all that after experiencing firsthand the devastation this kind of crime can cause.
I'm so tired of being here, suppressed by all my childish fears. And if you have to leave, I wish that you would just leave. Your presence still lingers here, and it won't leave.
30-year-old Nathaniel Levy's life was turned upside down when in 2004 his 16-year-old brother Robert was fatally stabbed just outside his home in Hackney whilst trying to help a boy who was being threatened by a teenager with a knife. So what kind of person was Robert?
Robert was a fantastic young man, you know, absolutely amazing, and, you know, sometimes could be blamed for being biased, but he was always smiling. He was a gift, you know, and spiritually for me, he was a gift from God, and, you know, nothing in this world would ever replace him. And many people respected him, not only for his honesty and truthfulness, but he set examples for young people. Robert had just finished secondary school, was a really bright, enthusiastic person, just like you guys. Now, I remember getting a phone call from my dad. I answered the phone and my dad was really distraught, and for all of the, you know, all I could hear was that at the end of it was Robert had been stabbed. I ran down to the Hackney Town Hall where my dad said he was, and I saw my brother outside the town hall laying on the ground. Now, I used to watch Holby City and some other stuff about an ER department. I used to hate the fact when at the end of it, the doctor comes in and he says to the family on the television, "I'm really sorry, but your mum, your dad, your brother, your granddad, your grandma, your sister, they've died." And I used to think, gosh, I can't imagine that ever happening to me. I don't know what I'd do. The doctor came in and he had his head down. Even before he opened his mouth, I knew. And I ran outside and I cried tears that I've never ever cried before. And there was one quote that I realised that how I felt, and it was that I cried my soul away. I didn't want to exist anymore because my brother had gone, and if there was any chance that I could have got, you know, left this earth without hurting my family, then I would have done so as well, because a piece of me died with my brother.
But losing Robert was such a shock. And we were completely devastated, my family, by this, that this could have happened to a young man who was an A-grade student and just trying to help another young person. And the fact that the person who took his life was so young himself, that we felt that we needed to do something, you know, to stop this happening. And yes, people need to listen because it's affecting all communities now. It's everywhere, so we need to do something to stop it.
You know, I know that my parents wanted to harness everything that was positive to help other young people. I think it was a year after, maybe, you know, that they decided to set up the Robert Levy Foundation for other young people.
Explain to me what the foundation is and how you're involved in that.
The Robert Levy Foundation was set up to support young people, focusing on education and about, you know, empowering young people for better. If you put any sharp object into your skin, above your torso, and sometimes not even your torso, maybe even above the knee, you are 94% likely to die. So what we said was that, you know, we are going to produce a program that encourages their life skills, their aspirations, and deals with the current issues that they are facing. Young people nowadays are facing a huge amount of problems.
So Nathan, this is a very special place for you.
Yes, it is. It's a memorial bench commemorates my brother's life and what he stood for.
And why do you think they carry the knives in the first place?
I think there's many factors to why young people carry knives. I think the main reason being is they will say is because they're unfair, or they carry it for protection.
Right.
Some of them carry it because it can be used as a fashion tool. It's a lot of factors, and I think that, you know, not only young people but you know, adults need to take responsibility of what they're doing.
But why should we as a community help the people like those people that killed Robert?
Going through the whole process of losing Robert was hard enough, and I remember, you know, I'd been outside the court, and one of the barristers came outside and said to me, you know what, if you spend your time thinking about this young man and not trying to be positive and think positive, then it will end up eating you up. And that was a real heart-rendering thing for me, and I used that. And the harder I work to save young people, it's saving another family from going through what I've gone through.
In 2005, Nathaniel went to the Lambton School in Hounslow to give a speech on the danger of knife crime, drawing from his own family's experiences and personal tragedy.
I remember starting the first school, and I was really frightened, and I didn't want to tell them about my own personal story, but we started to talk, and some of the feedback that I got and some of the input that I got from these young people was absolutely fantastic. It gave me a belief in that young people with the correct forum are able to give so much.
Before long, Nathaniel was receiving requests from other schools and youth groups who wanted him to teach the moral lessons directly to the children in and around Hackney and other parts of London.
By word of mouth, other schools heard about what was going on, and I think in total now I've reached about 40 schools and you know, 60 pupils in each school.
Hope you guys succeed, and we do it 1, 2, 3, tolerate!
Nathaniel works directly with small groups of boys and girls of varying ages, talking to them about the dangers on the streets and how to have confidence and be assertive. He tailor-makes all his classes according to the audience and how vulnerable they are. What is the toughest thing about your job?
And I'm a normal young man, hard-working young man, and my burning passion, you know, is I want my brother's legacy to live on. And no matter what happens, whether I'm supported, whether I'm not supported, I will still continue to do that.
For a number of these children, the reality is that we are providing them with a lot of the care that used to be provided by families. And Nathaniel in particular takes a lot of time to give them strategies to deal with the challenges that face these young people outside of school time.
My best time was when I won 3 medals and for athletics, and I got in the newspaper.
My best time, if you want me to be honest, my best time is working with you guys. And I mean it. So the more you guys progress is the more that I'm happy, and that's my proudest moment, to see you guys doing well.
I actually feel that Nathaniel's work needs to now spread, and people need to take on board what value he is bringing into education.
Recently, the Robert Levy Foundation has teamed up with a business in a mentoring scheme that allows a few lucky school leavers from the Hackney area to set up and run their own business under professional supervision.
The work Nathaniel's doing with young people means that they can become a part of their community in a more positive and constructive way, and makes them challenge the aspirations that were on the street.
Well, Nathan, we think you're amazing, but what do you think about being one of our local heroes?
I think that if you look outside in our community, there's loads of unsung heroes that people don't know about, and they're out there doing so many fantastic things every single day. I appreciate, you know, the fact that, you know, this has been recognised, but there's more to do, and there's more local heroes out there that need to be recognised, so communities can feel empowered that they are doing the right thing. I duly accept any kind of accolade in hope that my brother's legacy can live on.
It's wonderful that all that good can come out of so much tragedy, isn't it? For further details on the Robert Levy Foundation, you can have a look at our website, itv.com/thismorning.